I have a question before we start. What do you think is the most important driving force in one nation's development? I think it is business of that country. There is a statement, a business of America is business. It means that American business has considerable power, and so it can stand for world business. How about in Korea? We could develop our country dramatically through business in 1970s until now. Business has great influence on one nation's economy and development. From now on, our group is going to present about business in America and Korea. We will talk about several topics about business. First, general characteristics of business in America and Korea. Second, what properties to look for in an employee in America and Korea, and what job seekers put value on when finding a job. Third is about unemployment. And lastly, we will deal with women's problem and discrimination. The setting is like this. We are university students about studying in American culture like this class. So we should prepare the presentation about differences and similarities in business between America and Korea. We are supposed to represent our topic next week, so today we are in rehearsal. First, let me introduce our group members. This is Chang Eun-ji, and Lee Ji-eun, Sung Se-yoon, and me. My name is Yoon Hae-jung. Let's start. Everybody prepared well?
Yes.
This is the last time to practice for our presentation, so our best. Okay. Who is the first presenter?
It's me. My name is Chang Eun-ji, and I'm going to talk about the general characteristics of business in America and Korea. First, I want to give definition of business briefly. Business is directly or indirectly owned and operated by private individuals in order to make profit. And unlike other institutions such as government, church, and various kinds of NGOs, business usually established and managed by private individuals in order to make money. And this is also true of business in Korea. Also, both American and Korean business have great influence on their own countries and world economy.
It seems that America and Korea have common things. Is there any differences between two countries?
Yes, there are. First of all, American business is firmly based on the ideals of competition. Competition is seen as the major source of progress and prosperity by most of Americans. They think the efficiency of business can be achieved by the competition between business institutions and also among the individuals who are working in them. In contrast to one powerful government, many businesses compete against each other for more profit. Usually, American compares this kind of business competition to the race open to all. So the success and stature goes to the most person regardless of their social class background. As American business regard competition as important thing, they give promotion or other kind of compensation to their employees according to their ability. Regardless of their ages or years of working in their company, they can get promoted to higher positions if they have excellent ability.
What about Korea? In Korean business not based on this idea?
Not exactly. In Korea, business has not always been based on the ideals of competition. There are other factors that have affected the Korean business. There are close relationship between political and business circles, and seniority system, and finally, heredity of management. In the past, most influential business institutions in Korea were closely related to the government. So the So the businessman gave some kind of bribe to the politicians and public officials in order to receive preferential treatment from them. And this helped their companies to grow faster and larger than other companies. Also, within the company, the employees usually got promoted not by their ability, but by their ages and years of working in the company. So the person who has worked for more years usually got promoted regardless of their ability. Another difference between Korean and American business is that American business usually make distinction between ownership and management of the company. Owners of the company do not always run the company, and it is the chief executive officers who manage the company. So the CEOs take the responsibility of management, and they can be released from their office by the stockholders if they make serious mistakes. But in Korea, the owners of the company usually took the right of management, and they think the companies are there. So they are not released from the office even if they make serious mistakes. Also, they give the right of ownership and management of the company to their sons and daughters. So sometimes this causes a lot of problems.
What about the viewpoint of people who are business? Are there any differences between America and Korea?
Yes, there are. The factors that I mentioned before cause the difference in viewing business in America and Korea. So most of Americans respect the businessman because they think business institutions carry out the basic American values such as competition, individual freedom, equal opportunity, and hard work. Also, the management and ownership of the company is separated. CEOs take the responsibility of management, and they can be released from their office if they make serious mistakes. So, due to these reasons, people can have trust on their company. But in Korea, the big companies were closely related to the government, and they received preferential treatment from the politicians and also public officers by giving bribes to them. So this caused most of big companies to grow bigger and stronger than other companies. Also, the owners of the company took the right of management, and they even transmit it to their own sons and daughters. This caused the negative image of business institutions. As you can see from this chart, Koreans have negative image of businessmen far more than other people in other countries. And in contrast to Koreans, Americans have more positive image of business.
Yes, in this presented about general characteristics of business in two countries. American business is firmly based on competition and ability. But in Korea, there are some bad images like relating to government or heredity of management and bribe problems. But business has great influence on one nation's country. It's a common thing, I think. Let's go to another topic. Who is next presenter?
I am. Hi everyone, my name is Hong Yun, and tonight I've covered two parts on what corporates look for an employee and what job seekers put value on when finding a job in America and Korea. First, what kind of traits are they looking for when they are hiring? Of course, in both countries, in America and Korea, they both want a responsible and a devoted employee who will better the company. The difference is that in America, employers put value on the skills and the ability pertinent to the position open. So things like, is he capable of doing the job right? Can he or she handle it not only skill-wise, but personality-wise? And on a bigger sense, does he have the attitude and the personality that fits with the company will be the main consideration. Whereas in Korea, pedigree matters the most. Pedigree tells where one came from, and in this case, it will be about educational background. So, like prestige of schools you have graduated will be the main issue that the employers will look when you are getting hired. And definitely the appearance. I heard that they still look at appearance, especially in the girls. So appearance is one factor they look at in Korea. And thirdly, English skill is important too. So even though the position does not state English skills, companies tend to think it's a basic skill that you should have.
So what is the African look for when searching a job? Are there any differences between America and Korea?
When job seekers are looking for a job, in America, people value the quality of life. So the annual salary is really important. And the company's potential, whether it be a place where one can use a stepping stone to a bigger competency, is important as well. And does it provide a challenging atmosphere where one can push him or herself to the next level is important as well. And fringe benefits matter. They take a great part. So does the company have health insurance, paid vacations, and retirement pension? Those are great factors they look at when looking for a job in America. And working hours matter, and usually in America, people work from 9 to 5, and they want some time to enjoy for their leisure time. And overall, Americans, they don't think that one place will be their long-lasting lifetime job, so they are very practical and reasonable when in looking for a job that corresponds to their needs. Whereas in Korea, Korean job seekers search for a job concentrating on the company's size and how well it's recognized by society. Also, the brand value and the stability of the company is important. Of course, annual salary is important, but more emphasis is put on whether it's a big name company like Samsung or Hyundai. Those are important. And security is important because up to now, people used to think that once you got in a company, you were there forever and it was permanent. But I think recently Korea is changing and becoming more Americanized in that way. So jobs that can offer you an environment where you can learn to become stronger and more competitive is becoming more popular.
You say Korea is changing and becoming more Westernized. Why do you think that's happening?
I think it's because people no longer think of one job as their lifelong job, and they have to be ready to move on, whether it be on will or by force.
Why is that?
Because after the IMF, there are less jobs out there that guarantees you on a lifelong basis. So rather than considering the size of the company or the brand name value, how the company can help you and how you can use the company as a stepping stone is more crucial.
Okay, there are some differences in conditions corporate look for an employee and what job seekers could value when finding a job. And I agree with your point that Korea is changing and becoming more Americanized. Okay, let's go to the next topic about unemployment.
I'd like to tell you about the unemployment rate in Korea. Since I met in 1997, Korean unemployment rate is very serious. Someone said, I think I should appreciate that I have the place to get money and I was working as a companion. In fact, it is very difficult to get a job. Before entering this company, I applied for many jobs and I filled out written application about this time. In the capitalist society, getting a job is regarded as a social economic attainment. Especially in Korea, this trend is very strong. Korean society is tending from high growth and low unemployment rate to low growth and high unemployment rate. In the past, Korean people used to work at only one company until they are too old to work. They were loyal to their company because they thought that company was their livelihood place. But due to recent enormous unemployment rate, the concept of a livelihood workplace falls down. Long-term employment is not effective anymore. Moreover, Korean young people's unemployment situation is very serious. The regular and temporary workers are increasing. So even after graduating university, some enter or transfer to other university of medicine, pharmacy, and education to get certificates and professional jobs. Others enter graduate school to learn more and get a job they wish. In a serious economic depression, young people are inclined to prefer to entering a public enterprises or want to be a government employees and public servants because they can work until they are in the retirement age and they need not be worried about Korean debt caused voluntary retirement by a company salary. So its entry competition rate is very high.
Oh, really? Why do Koreans prefer that job? Meaning that Koreans would like to compete with each other for quality?
I don't think so. As I already said, it is very hard to enter corporate society. In order to get the economic equation, Koreans are apt to find a sure means of living, regardless of their aptitude. They speak securely of living rather than a job proper to their aptitude and capability. And its influence in poverty and the pride competing with others also. But the competition degree is relatively lower than that in private ones. And they can work for a relatively long time at a public enterprise rather than at a private one.
Okay, but I'm curious about the American situation. Could you tell me about that?
Of course, there is no concept of a right-wrong workplace in America. Instead of it, Americans have right-wrong careers. Some Americans have more than one job. In American society, it is common to be fired if someone doesn't make to appeal for a company and is a matter of course. In American business, individual competition policy is emphasized, so raising and a free ride and any favoritism out of broad relations and speculation and regionalism are thoroughly deducted. Although the American office workers who are in the 40 or 45 years old have moved their workplace at least 7 or 8 times since they are hired first. So, there is no concept of right-wrong workplace to Americans, and they think it is not reasonable and effective.
That's what I found out when I was doing my research. But because of this high unemployment, isn't it harder for women to get jobs? Are women still being prejudiced?
That's what I researched. I'm going to cover women and discrimination problem. Traditionally, white males have played an important role in American business, earning the high salary, achieving the greatest successes, and certainly wielding most of the power. However, the percentage of women entering the workforce rose steadily from 1960s. Korea has similar situation. Look at this PowerPoint. According to this graph, the percentage of women in the workforce in America takes up about 76%, while in Korea, 58%. Sweden has the most. Even though the percentage of working women in America is much higher than that of Korea, but there's not big difference in the percentage of middle management position or chief executive offices between two countries. Especially among larger corporations, women CEO are very few. I think women have reached the glass ceiling that is a kind of maximum limit of getting promotion. It is a discrimination.
What is the reason for discrimination?
I think because of the belief that women is not capable and weak, even though the situation is getting better, but some problems prevail yet. In Korea, discrimination against women is more severe.
Are there any other reasons? I think that women have lots of problems because of their family care.
Sure. Family care, especially children care, is a big problem in both countries. But in America, but many companies provide flexible working hours or daycare centers in the building. And there are quite many daycare centers run by government or state. But these days, lots of women want to have enough time with their family. So they are choosing to drop out of their workforce or trying to find jobs they can do at home, like working on a computer linked to their office. On the other hand, in Korea, lots of women with small children are not even employed. Most Korean companies do not provide flexible working hours or daycare centers yet. Among OECD members, Korea is in the lowest ranking rate of daycare centers which are run by companies or governments. Companies don't provide enough benefits for women employees.
Yes, I agree, but I have a question. America has another big problem. It's the discrimination against the minority, like immigrants and colored race. What do you think of that?
Of course, although America is a mixture of all races, there exists discrimination against immigrants in getting jobs, promotion, and salaries. But these situations are getting better, as they imply important roles in development of America more and more. The white American male may no longer have advantages of other workers.
Okay, let's come to the conclusion. There are some similarities and differences between American business and Korean business. For example, both the American and Korean business are established and operated by people and seek to make profit. In American business, the competition process is thoroughly respected, while Korean business is not always based on the idea of competition. And both American business and Korean business have some unreasonable points, such as discrimination. But nowadays, American business is changed to the right and reasonable way, and Korean business become Americanized. Atlantic only good aspect. Thank you for listening our presentation. And it's time for questions. Do you have any questions?
Anybody's got any questions? I got one. What about outsourcing? You talked about American business and how minorities and immigrants might have disadvantages in the United States. But in the last few years, American businesses have been sending jobs abroad in large quantities, and this is called outsourcing. What would you like to say about this? And would you care to comment about this phenomenon? And is something similar happening in Korea with perhaps jobs being outsourced to China?
I said America is a mixture of all races, so about 10 years or before, there are big problems because of this discrimination against immigrants. But in Korea, I think Korea's situation is somewhat different from America because Korea is not a mixture of all races. We are one nation. But these days, someone said Korea has a similar situation like discrimination because of foreign workers like in the Philippines or in
migrant workers.
Migrants. But there are some problems in Korea, but I think in Korea the minority workers are most of illegal. So there are some differences between America.
What about outsourcing though? Outsourcing means jobs are being sent to other countries because it's cheaper. Wages are lower. So if you send jobs to China from Korea, for example, you need to pay your employees less. And this is what the U.S. is doing, especially in the IT industry, or the phone inquiry industry for airlines and banks. A lot of the people who answer the phone are in India or somewhere in China, perhaps. You have a similar phenomenon here in Korea.
On a short-term basis, it may look like that the company may be profiting from outsourcing. Like, since China has cheap labor, it's cheaper to use China's factories than in Korea, right? But in the long run, if you think about it, then if you use outsourcing, I mean, it's my opinion, but if you use outsourcing in the long run, for the country as a whole, isn't it a disadvantage, and it will come back as a law?
But I think outsourcing is also one of the good ways in the long run, because without that kind of system, we cannot interact with the other countries. We cannot get better information or techniques. The outsourcing is a good way to get good information and techniques. You can learn from other countries.
So
countries that we're outsourcing to, is it more developed? Usually it's more less developed than our country. So I think they're just doing it for the money.
We can earn more projects and they can
Learn from us.
get our techniques. That's right.
I think about the unemployment rate is going on in Korea because of the outsourcing. There are some problems around because of that.
But in the business world, that privilege is very important. But if we wanted to outsourcing, maybe our product is not competitive. We can compete with China. So that's what the business that are trying to go to China or even North Korea, because they want to get a foreign institution for working. I believe it's the outsourcing. It's good for our business.
We will not talk about the outsourcing. There are some strategies you said.
If someone continues to run the business in Korea continuously, maybe we have to pay more money for buying the product.
I think we should use this system efficiently. For example, we cannot compete with China. They have much cheaper workforce, and I think maybe we will lose in the game. And so I think we should focus more on the software field, and for the hardware field, I think we should use our country environment.
I have one more question. What about transparency in bookkeeping in businesses? How would you compare the situation in Korea with the one in the United States? I've been told, I don't know all the facts, I'm not a businessman, I'm a teacher, but I've been told that many companies in Korea keep two sets of books. One for the company and one for the tax office, or maybe three sometimes. And how would you compare this with the situation in the United States, perhaps? And would you say that this is a desirable situation, or does it bring advantages to the business? Is it efficient? Is it more profitable? How would you describe the situation?
We didn't talk about that, but
It's a question.
Yeah, we didn't know we were prepared for that question. But I mean, it's common in Korea that it's happening. Like they have secret secrets and stuff like that, bookkeeping and stuff. I heard it's common in Korea, but I don't think it is as common as in America. But it's
Do you think it's more common in the United States?
No, it's not as common
I
as
see.
in the United States. But, you would know, right?
What do I know?
America
Oh,
is
you mean in the
less
United
than-
States?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's less common in the United States because it would be more difficult to bribe a tax official. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, no? It certainly does everywhere. Bribes exist in every country, but I think the practice might be more accepted or acceptable or widespread. It might be part of the business culture here. And do you think that it makes things more efficient? Or do you think that things work better as a result here in Korea? You're not quite sure. I'm not quite sure either. I'd like to find out the answer, really. Does it actually help business? Does it make, is it good for the economy? Is it ultimately good for employees and for the economy of the country? Well, something to say, yes?
As I mentioned before during my presentation, I think it have more bad effects on the economy, Korean economy, because actually people, the business who got preferential treatment from the government or other politicians can grow faster than other companies. So eventually they have to compete with other companies outside the world, and maybe in Korea they can grow higher, but outside Korea they cannot compete with other companies, global companies. So I think it doesn't have to be effect on the Korean economy.
Okay. Yes?
As I also noticed, it's not that hard to have Korea is less organized or systematically compared to other developed countries. So that's why we have to kind of collaborate or doing in companies, not only big companies, but also small companies also have this kind of things. Store owners do not want us to pay with credit cards. They just want us to pay cash because of the taxes. So many people in Korea still want to avoid paying taxes, and that's a kind of problem. But I think our society and our government is trying to improve those things. I'm not sure about the year, but last year I guess the government made kind of rules that the stores have to issue some receipts that even though we pay in cash. So I think we try to improve all those things, and everybody knows that being honest is the best thing. So I think we are trying to improve things.
Well, it has to do with culture also, I think. It's not necessarily a sign of backwardness or advancement. It's just the way things are done. And in certain countries, it's understood that certain bribes are necessary just to smooth things. Right? It's just a tax, really. Thank you. Are there any other questions? Okay. That's 33 minutes altogether.